All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Forensic Science undergrad student panelist session. So today we have a host of some of our undergraduate students who are here to answer your questions. So if you can think of any questions while they're presenting, definitely don't feel shy. You can type your questions in the chat box to the side of the feed loop panel, and we will be relaying the questions to our panelists. So today we have Esme Newling, Janice Chung, Sarah Bone, Elena Temilkova, and another Sarah Bone, who I don't know if is the same one, but we have two. The second one, I think, is probably just a copy of the same person. So I think, why don't we get started by introducing our panelists. So just so you guys know, if you didn't see me in the video before, my name is Murray Clayton, and I'm the program officer for Forensic Science, which means that I basically take care of the student experience and make sure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing to get through the program successfully. So without further ado, let's flip it over to the panelists. And why don't we hear from Esme first?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Esme, and I am a third-year student here at UTM. I am double majoring in anthropology and classical history with a minor in forensic science. I'm also on the executive of the UTM Undergraduate Forensic Society, and I am the forensic science work study student. So if you have any questions about getting involved as an undergrad, I am more than happy to answer those.
Awesome. How about we hear from Janice next?
Hi everyone, my name is Janice and I'm also a third year undergrad student and I'm doubling in forensic science and biology. So if you guys have any questions about forensic bio specifically, you can ask me.
Cool. All right. Sarah, why don't we hear from you next?
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm second year forensic anthropology with a minor in classical civilizations.
Awesome. And Elena.
Hi everyone, my name is Elena. I'm a
sorry,
fourth
Elena.
year. No, it's okay. Everyone always gets that wrong. I'm a fourth year forensic psychology specialist and biology minor, and I'm hoping to graduate this year. So if you guys have any questions about forensic psych or about graduation and grad school, then let me know.
So I wanted to quickly kick it off to any of you guys. So whoever wants to answer this question, this is a question that we got in the first chat this morning. One of the students wanted to know really what would be the difference between taking a forensic science major, taking one of the specialist degrees, or taking a minor in forensic science. So if anyone wants to answer that, go ahead.
When you take a specialist, you get to focus on specific courses that you want to look at. So for example, I'm in the psychology stream. So a lot of the courses that I do are specifically for psychology. If you're doing a major, you kind of get a broader sense of what forensic science is, and you can take courses in different fields. Like you can take bio courses or chem courses. But if you do have a specific interest in forensics, then I would suggest that you take a specialist and you can really focus in on that stream and learn more about the topic that you're interested in.
Yeah, I would just add on to that for if you do a double major in forensics, there is the option of doing an independent project with a prof if you're interested in doing or exploring a certain area of forensics. For a specialist, there is also an option of an internship. So that would be any additional, and it's not exactly part of the requirement, but it would be an additional part that you can do. So it really depends on what if you want to specialize in one area and focus on more things that would be more specific towards like forensic bio, like genealogy and like genes and stuff like that. Or if you want to have a broader spectrum of what forensic bio could be.
Murray, you're muted.
Thanks. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. I did also have another question from this morning's panel, but I literally just forgot it as I was trying to unmute myself. So give me 1 second. Don't forget, guys, that our attendees, you can ask questions in the sidebar of feed loop. I don't know which, maybe it's over there. If you have any questions about the program. One general question I have for you guys, while I try to remember the other one that was asked, is how did you guys find the transition from on-campus learning to online learning? Now, we don't know what 2021 is going to bring. The plans for forensic science is to go, as soon as we can, go right back to in-person classes. But how has this transition been for you? Since I know that most of our students here have all experienced the same thing in high school.
I think the transition was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be for me. I thought that as soon as I transitioned to online learning, like all of my study habits and motivation would kind of dissolve into nothingness. But I think ultimately there were lots and lots of avenues of support from U of T that I like learned how to be an online student relatively quickly. And it was also kind of a bonding experience between students and professors. None of us really wanted to be doing the transition to online, and everyone was a little bit confused. But yeah, it was definitely felt like we worked through it together. And I was still able to use a lot of the study habits that I developed in my first 2 years that I hadn't expected to be able to use.
Yeah, I found it a little harder because just like getting the motivation, like I also have like a part-time job, so I have to balance school, life. My family's all living here. They're all doing their stuff in my house, actually. My dad's on a conference call. But I just found it harder to get motivated. Like I found that having a regimen worked a lot better for myself. I don't know about anyone else, but the study habits definitely from last year. I'm so glad that I came in for second year, because if I didn't have those study habits, it would have been a lot harder for myself.
Muted again. We actually do have one of our first questions in the chat. What would you say is the typical number of hours a forensic science student would have in a week, and the number of hours in labs versus in a lecture?
What do you mean by like hours of lecture and versus like hours of practical?
Sure, why don't we say both?
Okay, so I'm in forensic anthropology, so for the most part, I don't really have too many labs. I think I have 3 labs at the most. But the labs are normally about an hour. Lecture can be, for me, between an hour to 2 hours. So it kind of depends on what you're going into.
Yeah, in my case, if you're in like in the forensic psychology stream, psych lectures tend to be like about 3 hours usually when you get into like the upper year courses. So if you're taking like 2 to 3, maybe even 4 psych courses, you would have a decent amount of hours every week for lecture. Same thing, like as Sarah said, I don't have too many labs in specific forensic courses because I'm not in like I mean, psych doesn't have too many labs, but a lot of it is really lecture like heavy. So you would have a good amount of lecture hours every week.
For me, for forensic bio, I would say first year would have, for me, had the most amount of labs. I think I was doing, like they alternate weekly. Maybe like for 1 week I will have lab, and then next week I have another course for like a lab for another course. So I would say around 5 hours, 5 or 6 hours of labs. And then for upper years, it really depends on what course you're taking. Some courses don't have as many hours of labs. I know that right now I'm taking a forensic ident class, and that lab is like 2 hours. And that's the only lab I have in upper year. So yeah, I think it really varies on what courses you want to take.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think it will vary just depending on what courses you take, and then of course whether you're in something super science like chem or bio, or more social science based like psych. So Janessa has a question, and she just wanted to clarify, and I think I can throw this answer to you guys. High school students enter a general forensic science program in first year, and then they apply to a specific program by the end of first year, correct?
Yes.
So from your perspective, you declared your major at the end of first year. How did you do it on OUAC? Can you walk us through what you selected? Like if you knew you wanted to go into forensic bio or forensic anthro, what did you do when you were in grade 12 on OUAC?
I think from my memory, you selected studies in forensic science as your interest on OUAC. and then you were admitted to the general forensic science interest pool. One thing I remember, because I'm not from Ontario, so I didn't have a lot of familiarity with the system, was that I didn't realize when I was applying at first that forensic science only happened at UTM. So you have to be applying to the University of Toronto, Mississauga specifically before you click on studies in forensic science.
Yeah, good point. Good point. We're not at St. George and we're not at Scarborough. So you have to make sure that it's UTM. And you don't apply on OUAC for forensic anthropology or forensic psychology or anything like that, do you? Or is there an option there? No? So your high school requirements really need to be sort of well thought out in advance. So you know which specialist degree or major degree you want to get into, just so you make sure that you cover those basics, right?
Sorry, for like high school, I took triology in French, so my school is bilingual, but it's psychology, anthropology, and sociology all in one course. So that really helped me, especially in my anthropology classes, because they kind of take bits and pieces from all different courses. And then of course, bio and all that fun stuff.
All that, yeah, bio and all that fun stuff. Speaking of bio, we actually have a question directly to you, Janice. So excuse me, what career paths are available for forensic biology, and is biology enough to land a good job? Or do they have to do additional courses or degrees after you complete forensic biology?
I think it really depends on what career path you're looking into. I know in forensic bio, you can continue doing further studies and you can work in laboratory environments where you can be eventually become like a forensic, either a forensic identity officer in the labs in the FIS, or you can also become like an expert witness and get your PhD or your master's and do a lot of research-based things, or work for the Center of Forensic Science. That's also an option. I think it really depends on what you're passionate about and what interests you in forensics, because forensics is such a broad like program, and there's like so many things you can do. Forensic etymology, which is the study of insects, which technically has some relations to biology, or you can do things that go into like genes and database and all of that. So I think it really depends on what interests you. And I think if you don't know what you like so far, first year is a great year for you to explore and get to know the program and get to know what options there are for you. And based on that, you can either grow in an area of research, or you can grow in an area of specifically specializing in one area of forensic science.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Thank you. And I think I will add, you had mentioned the Center for Forensic Science, and they do employ biologists and chemists right out of their undergraduate degree. It does help if you have a master's or PhD, only because then you can actually be an expert witness in court, but you can still get jobs right out of the undergrad at a consultation or working for the government like that as well. So sort of just going off on forensic biology then, if you're doing, so we have a question from Kushi who says, if you are doing a bio major under the life science program, is there a limit on how many students are accepted into the forensic science major? I guess I'll answer that. Yes, there is. We can basically only accept as many people as our first year course allows, which is around 300 or so. I would recommend, if you're doing bio major under the life science program, you can still get into our introduction to forensic science course. However, if you're looking to do a forensic science major, you probably want to start by applying to forensic science, not the other way around. You're probably going to want to apply to FSC right out of OUAC. And then if you don't like it, you can always just switch to bio, because you're going to be taking the same bio courses in your first year anyway. And it's easier to trade back to bio than to try and get from bio into FSC. It's not impossible. We have students who do that all the time. They change majors and they change programs, as long as you make sure that you have the necessary first year required courses. Yes, so just to follow up, yes, switching from forensic science to bio is easier, because it's not as easy to get into forensic science as it is to get into bio. So you want to make sure that you at least have that spot so you have the option. So Janessa has a follow-up question. Is it possible to take minors from other faculties? And I will leave that to you guys because I know that you do that.
Yeah, so I started off in the forensic anthropology specialist. So after my first year, I entered the forensic anthro specialist. And at the time, I took a classical civilizations, so like ancient history, Rome, Greece, course as an elective, and I really, really liked it. And so I added that on as a minor, and now as I've progressed through university, it is now my major. But yeah, it is possible to do a minor in addition to doing a specialist, even though it seems like a lot of courses, but as long as the majority of your electives are going into that minor, it is capable to do it in 4 years. I know Sarah's also doing a minor, so she might have other opinions about that.
Yeah, I'm in forensic anthropology with a minor in classical civilizations. And it's actually like, it seems like a lot, like Esme said, but it's great. Like it's especially for forensic anthropology and classics, it really worked out well for my schedule because I had like one day and I just had nothing. And I was like, well, I don't want to just sit home doing nothing while I like study. So I took classics and it was like, it's such a cool course. It's amazingly taught by the professors. And it works out great for forensic anthropology schedule.
That's awesome. Janice or Eleanor, are you guys taking any minors?
Yeah, so I'm minoring in biology because I wanted to have like more of that bioscience, and I already took a lot of bio courses, so I'm like, okay, I might as well do the minor. But I think like depending on what your electives are, because there are requirements that you have to meet to graduate, and like most of my bio courses don't like go towards any of those requirements, so it has been a little hard for me to fit in everything and like graduate in like the 4 year time span that I want. And I will, but that's because I had to do like extra summer school. So that's like one thing, like you might want to choose your minor based on like what would help you sort of like best fit in all the requirements for graduation, or you can just do something you're interested in, like bio. It just might be a little bit more work.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Prepare, if you want to do a minor on top of your major degrees, just prepare that you will have less room for electives, essentially. Are any of you guys in 4th year?
Yeah, I am.
And are you in the internship course right now?
Yeah, I'm in I'm in 482, 483.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so we do have a question about the internships. Basically, could you explain how the internships work and how students will get practical experience out of that?
Sure. So this year is a little bit different because of COVID, but normally the way that it works is that you are paired up with a specific organization that you want to work with. So they give you a huge list of options, and depending on like your major, you would want to select something that's in your stream. So for example, a lot of the bio students, they want to go and intern at the Center of Forensic Sciences. Some of the psych students, they want to go to like work with Innocence Canada or the Ontario Court of Justice, and so on. So you would go and be paired up with a specific mentor from one of these places, and you would have to do a number of like weekly hours at these places, and you basically do research. So you'd work with the mentor and create like unique research, and they would guide you through the whole process, and at the end you may have the chance of even publishing your research. This year it's a little bit different because of COVID, so a lot of the opportunities were cut back a bit, but we're still able to do research at UTM with professors. That's also another option. You can do research at UTM with a specific professor on a topic that they are working on. So yeah, you do have a lot of like leeway there, and it's a really great opportunity for learning those research skills and then also networking with people in the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for answering that. I will emphasize it is a research internship. It's not a workplace internship. So it's not as if you'll be doing the typical duties of an officer or a psychologist or anything like that, but you will be contributing to their work. So the reason that it's set up this way is that you actually get a sense of what it's like to be working under the tutelage of a professional mentor. So you get to make that connection, but then you also see the current issues in the field that you can help work to solve. So no one's going to be running around shooting bad guys or anything like that. It is more of an academic internship. Kushi, just to answer your question, yes, there will be a recording of this session. It will be made available after the fact. And then Neha asks, for forensic chemistry, I know we don't have any chemists here, but for forensic chemistry, what career paths are available for the course, and is this just enough to land a good job, or do you have to have additional courses after you complete forensic chemistry? So very similar to biology, forensic chemistry is one of the few sort of science-based or forensic fields where you can start working in the labs right away after graduation. One of our largest employers for forensic chemistry is the Center for Forensic Sciences, and that there's one in York, Ontario, and there's one in Sault Ste. Marie. So right now they are hiring a lot of toxicologists, forensic chemists for things like gunshot residue, ballistics analysis, that kind of stuff. So yeah, forensic chemistry can find work as a forensic chemist right after graduation. However, we should again emphasize that forensic chemist is sort of a misnomer because there's so many very specific avenues or areas that you might go into under the academic umbrella of forensic chemistry. So it's really about what you actually want to do as a career path. Don't come in here expecting us to say, okay, you've graduated, now you're a forensic chemist. But you should know specifically, you know, what drives you and what interests you. And you'll learn that in your first and second year, and you'll start to really hone in on the areas that are going to make a good professional career for you. What is the job market like for forensics, and what developments are happening in the field right now? Well, I can tell you the answer to that, but I want to see if any of our panelists have an answer first. I'll tell you about the job market because our students are still in school. But can you speak to any of the current developments happening in the field of forensic science?
Well, just one example that I could think of is that Dr. Woodall, who is the forensic toxicologist here, started giving talks about like the effect of marijuana legalization on forensic science. So like as the world changes and things that aren't necessarily directly connected to forensic science reacts to those things. And at UTM, a lot of our professors are like at the top of their field in forensic science. So they are right up there with everyone else making the changes and reacting to the changes in the world that forensic science is reacting to. So that was just one example that I could think of that in recent years has been an advancement.
Yeah, I think that's really good to mention because most of our professors are still working in the field. Our toxicologist is still testifying in court. Our law professor is the assistant attorney for Newmarket, right? So they're still working in the field. The director of our program still goes out to cases, excavating human remains and identifying bodies and then testifying in court. So they are all aware of the current issues in forensic science. Another really big one that our students just learned about this week is that one of Canada's most famous wrongful conviction suits against a man called Guy Paul Morin, who was put in jail for basically faulty police work in the 80s or early 90s. That conviction was overturned using new DNA evidence. And just this week, they actually caught the killer, the real guy who did it, using home genealogy kits like Ancestry.ca or 23andMe. So these sort of sciences that are infiltrating our homes as regular people are now being used to solve crimes from many, many years ago. So in this way, this is kind of the research that we're focusing on at UTM. So our forensic biologist, our forensic biology professor, Dr. Nicole Navrosky, her lab is focusing on these kinds of genealogy studies. And I don't know, Janice, if you can speak to any more about that area or not.
Yeah, like I think everything you said covered most of what's going on in forensic bio. I would just add on that, like, even if you do the double major, she's Dr. Navrosky is she also oversees some of the independent projects as well. So even if you decide to choose a major, you can just send her a topic that you're interested in and see if you're interested in or she'll see if she's interested in overseeing your project. And it's a great way to get to know a little bit more about the labs and how things operate. So, yeah.
Awesome. So just to sort of, I'll backtrack and answer the first question in a second. Kushi, I just wanted to let you know in forensic chemistry, yes, there is a lot of chemistry component. It is forensic chemistry, so there is a lot of chemistry. Regarding the job market, Janessa, The job market for forensics is stable because when you graduate, you don't just graduate as a forensic scientist. You graduate in a specialized training that not all forensic scientists will have, right? So Esme and Sarah's training in anthropology isn't going to be the same as Janice's in bio, isn't going to be the same as Elena's in psych. So it's not like you're competing against the majority of your classmates for these positions. And in each specialist degree, there's a subsection of many different areas that you could be going into. So when you hear someone, now we've had this problem in the past with high school counselors who say, well, there are no jobs in forensic science. The truth is, yeah, there aren't any because you don't get a job as a forensic scientist. You get a job as a forensic chemist, biologist, toxicologist, anthropologist, etymologist, ballistics analyst, police officer, right? So you can see in that way, the breadth of career options give this sort of false sense of, you know, there's no forensic science jobs. Well, yeah, only because you're misusing the term forensic scientist. So don't be fooled when you hear that. It's just a matter of you knowing what you want to get into and then making sure that you take the right steps to train in that area. Can international students who graduated from this program get a job in Ontario? Well, to work as an international person in Ontario, you do have to have a work visa, and essentially in Canada, your employer has to explain why you would be better than a Canadian citizen in the job. So yes, you can get a job in Ontario without being a Canadian citizen, but you have to make sure that you're better than all the other applicants, essentially, just like any other job interview, I guess. Okay, and I know there's a question up there I missed. Oh, maybe not. Okay, so that's the majority of our questions so far. If you guys want to keep asking questions, we're more than happy to answer. Are there opportunities for experiential learning? Yes, that are not just the internships. So I'm going to let our students talk about the experiences that they've had.
So within forensic anthropology, there's a forensic anthropology field school that typically happens in the summer before your third year, in the last 2 weeks or the first 2 weeks of August. And so essentially you, I haven't done it myself. This is just for reference, but you go onto campus and you practice excavation in a forensic anthropology capacity. And then throughout the term, you're doing labs related to that excavation that you did in the summer. I know personally, I have a research opportunity program course that I'm in, which is not connected to forensic science, but it's something that you could still do as a forensic science student, which is essentially a course that you apply to and enroll in, where you get to work on research with a professor or a graduate student, depending on the ROP. So yeah, that you don't have to necessarily get all of your experiential learning within the forensic science program. There's lots of other options as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Does anybody else have any other experiential opportunities that they've had? No? Okay. Well, I will tell you about more of them then. So experience is pretty important to us at UTM, and you guys may not realize it, but a lot of our courses are actually marked as experiential opportunities because we consider the lab-based work that you do as experience as well. So if you are developing fingerprints, right? If you are looking at chemical processes for testing for blood or any of that kind of stuff, you're actually going to be doing those methods and techniques, which count as experiential education. But if you want to kick it up a notch and have real experiential education, we offer our crime scene investigation courses. So our third year level courses where you are actually going to be learning how to investigate crime scenes. So this is 300 and 302 and 303, where you'll actually be suited up in full bunny suits or Tyvek suits. You'll be using chemical processes either to develop fingerprints or develop positive or testing for positive results for blood at a crime scene. We have our CSI house on campus where most of these courses and methods take place. So you will essentially be acting as investigators, going inside the house and applying what you've learned in class. So if you didn't watch this morning's program fair video, go back and watch that because you'll get like a sort of mini tour of the CSI house to show just exactly what goes on in there. We also have a 4th year advanced forensic identification course where you'll start to do things like developing fingerprints off of flesh, and then use sort of proxies in that way to do a lot more advanced techniques as well. We do have a collaboration course with our Forensic Chemistry 311 that sort of takes the evidence used in the identification courses and then develops them and analyzes them in the chemistry lab as well. So you can see how evidence is handled from a crime scene. If you're a forensic chemist, you know, you can check and see what kind of a job the cops did by the evidence that you have in front of you, and vice versa. Those students in the investigation courses will see what it's like when the chemists have to analyze their evidence. And that culminates in a mock trial at the end of the year where we bring in real lawyers to actually grill you on the work that you've done. And basically you get experience seeing what it's like to actually be testified. We bring in a prosecuting lawyer and a defense lawyer, and you basically have to explain your actions to them in a mock trial. In addition to that, we also have our 3D technologies course. I can't remember the exact name of it, but we have a PEng, which is a doctor of engineering who teaches the course in 3D technologies. So things like crime scene reconstruction using 3D laser scanners, or virtual reality crime scenes where you come and you scan the crime scene and then you make a 3D rendering that someone can actually do a physical walkthrough through. And then of course, there's your internship courses as well, where you have your practical or placement. And we also have the research opportunities that Esme was talking about as well. So you can see there are lots and lots and lots of ways to get actual experience in your courses. Yeah, so forensics provides a lot of that because you can't really work as a forensic scientist if you don't know what you're doing, right? There's no point in sitting and reading about it and writing about it if you haven't actually done it. So that's really important for us. So I'm just going to scroll back to some of the questions that we missed during my blurb. Oh, okay, this is the one especially for you guys on the panel to answer. I heard, Neha says, I heard Mississauga campus is all work and there's not much of a social life. Is that true? And I want you guys to answer honestly.
I was on campus not that long ago, and I had a great social life. Like there's so many people, especially like I lived in McLuhan, so I lived on res, and I found like everyone. So I think it's probably like 100. It's probably about 100 or more people in the area, and I've met pretty much everyone. Most of us are all friends. It's really great. Like I did spend quite a bit of time studying, but I also like balanced it out. Like weekends we would have like game nights or like parties or stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of the people who feel necessarily that the Mississauga campus is all work, no play are commuter students. I think I really benefited from the res life experience, although like I didn't get to meet as many commuter students. If you are a commuting student and you're living at home while going to university, if you meet a residence friend, they'll bring you to the things. So you should try and find a friend in your classes that lives on residence, because then they can bring you to resident sanctioned social gatherings that are happening on campus. So yeah, I would recommend trying to get yourself a res friend.
Yeah, I was also a res student. I was in Leacock, so in our townhouse there were around like 4 of us, and like it's a great way to like connect with your roommates and get to know and go to all the fun activities that are available on campus. And additionally, there's like a bunch of clubs available at UTM that are specific to your interests, or you can even start a club of your own if it's not really there, which is also like super fun. You can get to know people there and build really good friendships and have a social life where you can just even meet people in your lectures. I know it's a little hard in COVID now and everything's online, but like meeting people in lecture and getting to know people, to even have like a study group or just a group of friends where you guys can have fun together. And yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Does anybody else have anything to add?
So I was not a res student.
Oh, there we go. That's important.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to add. I was not a res student. I'm a commuter, and I will say it is very different. I felt like I didn't really have the greatest like school social life. I don't even know too many people at UTM. I do like by fourth year, but first, second year, I didn't know too many people. That's on me though. I just didn't really go out of my way to meet people. But one thing I will say is there's so many events happening at UTM all the time. There's so many clubs. There's so many like things where you can just drop in. You don't even have to like be committed to a club. All clubs do a bunch of different events. You can have different pub nights where there's like parties at school, and just different things. So you can go to like different club events and meet people who have similar interests to you and make friends like that. And especially once you get to like the upper year courses, all your courses are pretty small, so it's easier to make friends in your classes. So yeah, if you're not a res student, think it's you can still meet people, you can still have a good social life. And at the end of the day, it's just balance. If you can balance your time between school, work, and I guess fun, then yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and sorry, one more thing. So the Forensics Club is a great place to meet like other forensic students. Like I feel like that's where I met most of the forensic students that I know, other than res and my courses, of course. And also practicals, in-person practicals. I've met so many friends through that. They're great.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of students in first year will actually skip their tutorials, which is not a good idea because you get to meet people intimately. I mean, not only don't skip your classes, but also you really get to meet people intimately because most of your first year courses might be like 500 people. But the practicals and the tutorials are going to be like at max 25 to 30. So you can really start to, meet a community around you. And the forensics community is pretty small as it is. So you should get to know those people in your classes. I'm also going to say hi to Melissa, who just joined us. Melissa, do you want to introduce yourself, your program, and anything else that students might like to know?
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I was using the wrong link. I swear I was using the one that she sent this morning, but I guess not. So anyway,
No worries.
Added me in, but I'm Melissa. I'm in fourth year forensic chemistry in the specialist, and I'm minoring in biology.
Awesome, thank you. We had some questions before, but I think I fielded them okay. But if we have any more, we'll throw them at you.
Great, thanks. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. So we had a question from, I can't quite read the name. It's very small, Alsace. How many courses, or how are courses tested in forensics? Do you have exams, do you have labs, or do you just have coursework? To anyone.
It kind of depends on the course. So like I know Ant 101 was really different. Like she kind of gave you some different options. But for the most part, it was labs, midterm, and then finals. And then there's like some other courses like Ant 102, which is the social science part of it. And it's last year, sorry, it's different this year, I've been told, but last year it was separated into sociocultural anthropology and linguistics. So it was just, I guess you could call it kind of like a final. So it was like one part for like half the semester, and then another part for the other half, but it was like worth 40%. And they had like a little small quiz too.
I hope that's changed. That sounds awful.
it was pretty intense.
For bio and forensics in general, it really depends on what courses you're taking, like I said before. So like for one of my courses for FSC 300, most of my assessments are assignments and like lab based, and then one critical review paper that I have to write, and then a final exam. But in contrast to like my chem courses and my bio courses, they're mainly test-based assessments. So I would say it really depends on the course that you select.
Yeah, I know for the first year forensic science course though, like the introduction to forensic science, when I took it, there were 4 tests and 3 assignments, and it's a year-long course, and that was kind of the structure of it. There wasn't an exam in exam periods. They were tests that were written in class outside of exam period. So yeah, probably if you're interested in forensic science, all of you will take that one. So that's how that one was structured.
Yeah, and I took the same course last year, and it was 4 assignments and 4 tests. Two of them are similar though for the assignments, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, and if you guys are wondering why our first year introduction course is 239, it's because we specifically made sure that there's no exam for it. The only way we could do that is by designating it a 2-year or second year course. So it's actually Introduction to Forensic Science is a first year course. It's just 239, but we make sure that you don't have an exam. It's just midterms and assignments to make it easier so you guys don't have to panic at exam time that you have like 8 months worth of content to remember. Awesome, great, thanks guys. Some other questions. Why did you choose the forensic science program at UTM over the forensic science programs elsewhere? That's from Michaela.
Well, for me, it was kind of between like UTM and Trent, but at UTM I could specialize, whereas Trent I would have to do, I think it was a double major. So I would have to do forensic sciences and anthropology instead of going straight into forensic anthropology.
Anyone else want to weigh in?
Yeah, I can. So I think I wasn't necessarily as worried about the specialization, which is what a lot of people think is like you come to UTM because you can do the specializations. But I think because I didn't know how to differentiate, I didn't know what was a good forensic science program. I had never taken forensic science courses. I looked at like outside of the forensic science program and like what the university was like. So I chose UTM over other universities as opposed to choosing UTM's forensic science program over other forensic science programs. I liked that there seemed to be like an online student community, so I could find social media pages for like the Forensic Society and other student societies, and I could do international, like I could go abroad for studying, and I could do research, and like that's why I chose UTM.
Awesome, anybody else?
I also would have agreed with Esme. I didn't really know about like the specific details about specialization and double majoring. So I chose it based on a general knowledge of U of T in general and the opportunities it offers. And I think looking at the whole package, I thought that UTM offered a better option for like, research opportunities and even getting to know other programs a little bit more. In case I do want to like explore other streams of science. And I think that U of T offers a lot of that. There's a lot of research-based opportunities that they offer that are like from people. You can follow professors that are the top of their field. And I think that's a great thing that most of the other universities didn't have. Not saying that they're not like not the best, but I think that
you can say it, it's okay, I don't mind.
Yeah. But I think U of T had more of professors who are more knowledgeable and experts in their field. So yeah, I chose it based on the general the general package of what U of T offers.
Cool, does anyone have anything to add?
UTM also gave me the most money. That was like I would be lying if I said that didn't go into the decision. So you should apply for scholarships and awards and stuff because they gave me money.
Yeah, so I will add on that all first year applicants are automatically entered into sort of the scholarship pool based on your grades, but there are other scholarships out there that you can apply for directly and do it because not a lot of people do that. There's a lot of scholarships that just go uncompeted for because people just don't apply. So definitely apply for scholarships.
Yeah, there's like an awards profile you can fill out. So it's basically you put in all your information and you write things about yourself and you can check boxes about what communities you're a part of. And U of T will submit your name and your application automatically to like a whole slew of scholarship opportunities. And like I just put in all my information and I won a scholarship from the Delta Tau Delta fraternity downtown because like, and I had to go to it was like the class of 1985 Delta Tau Delta, and I had to go to dinner with all these old former frat boys, but it was yeah, so like I would never have applied to that if U of T hadn't put my name forward. So yeah, you just have to fill out this general awards profile and they'll hook you up.
I think I will add as well, just sort of our official spiel on UTM specifically is that we are the oldest forensic science program in Canada. we developed the framework that other universities have implemented, have sort of like run with. So we are also one of the most well-known, which is really good when it comes to being employed, because people know that our graduates have a certain education and a certain level of training that basically set the groundwork for all other educational institutions. So that is one of the reasons why we are a very, very good university. In addition to that, we did have Janice mention the professors as well. All of our professors are active professionals in the field. I think there's only one, and the only reason he's not is because he's retired, but he was a cop for many, many years. So, so that really does set you apart in terms of you're actually learning from people who have been there and done that, not just people who studied it or read about it, and that makes a huge difference. But at the end of the day, sorry, Tara, cover your ears because she's from recruitment. We don't care where you go. We want to make sure that you're happy and that you're really, really studying what is meaningful to you, right? So from the forensic science program's point of view, I don't care if you come here or not. I just want to make sure that you want to be here, right? Because it's a very competitive program with a very small applicant pool and even smaller admission pool. So we just want to make sure that you're happy here and you actually want to be here, because otherwise you could be in the seat of someone else who didn't get in, but they really wanted to be here, right? So Terry, you can uncover your ears now. Okay, so next question. What kind of tasks, oh, you know what, I'll answer these sort of very quickly. If you're doing an forensic science and bio major, so Janice, this is for you, what percentage of electives can you still take?
So if you want to take, so for me, I had a unique, different experience because I came from the IB program. So I was able to have some transfer credits for my electives, and that took up most of my electives. But I think from what I'm hearing from other people in also in forensic bio is that you can have up to 2 credits for your humanities and your social science, where you can explore different areas. And I think as long as, so you're allowed to take up to 5 credits or 6 credits per semester, per year, yes, per year. And from whatever prerequisite courses that you have, if you have additional room, you can take maybe an introductory course in maybe a language or something like that. And that could be your elective. So it really depends on how many courses you're willing to take in first year. And then from that, you can take any additional electives that you're interested in.
Great, thank you for that. And it will change depending on your specialist too, right? So also, Melissa, bless you. So depending on, like, let's say chem students, I think they have the least wiggle room because they have the most required courses. And I think Anthro has the least required courses yeah. So you could take up to, I think in Anthro, you could take up to maybe 8 electives over your 4 years, whereas chem, I think, can only take 3 or 4 maybe. And most of those will probably be in first year. So it really just does depend on which specialist degree you're in. But you're right, Janice, if you take some additional courses, you can take up to 6 credits a year, which is roughly 5 to 6 or 5 to 7 courses, I think. Or sorry, no, 10 to 12 courses. All right. Kushi, I am the program officer for forensic science. I'm also the outreach coordinator. So I do like public events and engagements, tours and that kind of stuff, which unfortunately isn't really happening this year. And I'm also just sort of like a catch-all for jobs that don't fit anywhere else. So I also currently now oversee our online learning system called Quirkus, which you guys may have experienced in high school. Some places use Blackboard, some places use other platforms. But I also kind of just work in the background to make sure that things work properly the way they should. Does an elective last 1 semester or 1 academic year? Just depends on what elective it is. An elective is just any course that isn't required for your program. So it could be a half-year course, could be a full-year course. You just need to make sure that you have enough space for it. What else do we have here? While doing forensic science, can you do bioinformatics as a minor or even a certificate course? correct me if I'm wrong, students, but I think you can do anything as a minor, right?
Yeah, there's restrictions on which major you can do with the forensic science major, but you can do any minor with that.
Okay, that's good to know.
And I just know you can't do like the specialist and a bunch of other
Yes,
things,
yeah. You can't do a specialist degree as a minor. That's true.
unfortunately.
That would just be too greedy. What else do we have here? How many international students are accepted into the program? It just varies. It varies on who applies. There's no discrimination index between international and local students. If you have the grades, if you've made the requirements, you should be a good candidate for getting accepted into the program. We have students from all around the world. We have had students from, literally everywhere coming into our program. So don't feel like there's any sort of disadvantage just because you're an international student. What kind of tasks do toxicologists do? Melissa, do you want to answer that?
Okay, sure. I haven't done toxicology yet. We have it next semester, but I believe they analyze compounds that are present in dead bodies. Normally, that's what a toxicologist does. I think, I mean, we've all taken courses where they briefly mention it. I haven't done the forensic tox course yet, but normally they're looking for compounds in the body and not necessarily doing an autopsy or anything, but they're just looking for things in the body, like chemicals and stuff. So I have that course next semester, so that should be pretty heavy chemistry, I would imagine, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry, didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
Oh, good.
Has anyone taken or is taking the tox course this year?
So I actually took it in my second year, like the forensic 402, I think that's the course code, right? And basically what we did was we calculated blood alcohol concentration, and we learned mainly specifically about the drugs and what it did in the body, and the effects, and what receptors it targeted, and generally anything for in toxicology is basically analyzing the drug or any drugs in the system that can affect your behavior, and the physiological aspects of the body, kind of thing. So it could be living or in dead, or in the deceased, and it varies. So like maybe and like a lot of drugs that we learn like have different decomposition rates and stuff like that, but alcohol was the one that we were able to calculate easily because it was like a linear thing. So yeah, it was just learning about the drugs, learning about the effects and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you know what? There's actually an exciting emergence of a new field called psychopharmacology. And this is actually the sort of the synthesis between toxicology and psychology, where we study the effects of drugs on your brain and how it changes your behavior. And that sort of leads into court testimony where can someone on drugs be held accountable for something they did when they didn't actually know they were aware that they were doing it, right? So if toxicology and psychopharmacology is something that interests you, I do suggest coming to tonight's mock lecture where our forensic toxicologist, Dr. Karen Woodall, will be presenting on things like cannabis use, the opioid crisis, and she also has an area of expertise in psychopharm, so you can ask her questions about that as well. It's really cool because it's a sort of cross-discipline area of study where we're merging biology with toxicology, with chemistry, with psychology. So yeah, that's really awesome. And like I said, there's a lot of jobs in tox right now because of cannabis legalization, drunk driving cases. So that is a great career path to go into. Does anybody have anything to add before I move on to the next question? No? Okay. So this question is, until admissions, if you have a question about forensic science, what is the best email address for reaching out to someone? And I'll put my address in the chat, but you can reach out to me anytime. My address is murray.clayton@utoronto.ca, and I'm going to type that into the chat right now. So I can't promise that I will always have the answers, but I will triage you to the person who does have the answers. But I try to have all the answers, kind of my job. Are there any FCW codes? I think that's for Tara, maybe, Fall Campus Week codes. I don't think there are any in this particular panel that I'm aware of, unless I'm wrong. All right, what else do we have here? All right, so we don't have any more questions in the chat right now. Feel free to think of some for our attendees and put them in there. We still have about 5 minutes left of the session. Okay, so Tara says, if there is a code for you guys, it's gonna pop up as a survey. Kushi asks, when can we do genetic courses, in 3rd or 4th year? And I will let Janice answer that, I guess.
Yeah, so you would usually take genetic courses in 3rd or 4th year because it's mainly a bio course that teaches you all of the genetics and yeah, all of the little details about that. But there is a forensic course on genetics. I think it's population genetics.
Yep, PopGen.
Yeah, and that you can take as long as you complete 271, which is a 2nd year course. But I recommend you to at least have some foundations in genetics before you go into it. So hopefully in 3rd or 4th year would be a good year to take those.
Yep, very good point. And while you're saying that, so FSC 271 is our 2nd year forensics course. And that will basically unlock a whole bunch of your 3rd and 4th year courses. So yeah, making sure that you have obviously the right courses selected. Always check your prerequisites to make sure that you've gotten the one course out of the way so it can unlock the upper year ones. So Michaela asks, since you reapply 2nd year for your specialization, is there a chance you won't be accepted? So you don't reapply 2nd year. Essentially what happens is you go in your 1st year undeclared. So you're just in the general forensic science program. At the end of your 1st year, you basically do what is this, you declare your intent to continue on through the program. So we call it an application. It kind of is, but it's not really. Basically, essentially, we have to make sure that you've taken all your 1st year courses, you've gotten a good grade, you still want to do this program because some people don't. Some people choose, you know, they say, oh, I didn't know there was this much blood in forensics or something, and they move to something else. So we want to make sure that you're actually serious about it. So at the end of your 1st year, you declare your major and you basically put in a statement saying, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is why I want to do it. And then you do have to put in some references just so that we know that you're a quality candidate. If you don't get accepted at the end of your 1st year, it's likely just because your grades weren't good enough. That's pretty much the primary reason people don't get accepted. If that's the case, you can either retake the courses that you didn't do so well on, or you can see if maybe there's an alternative route, like instead of getting into a specialist degree, you go into the minor or something like that. So it's not like the end of the road. Kajana wants to know, how was your 1st year as a forensic student? Was it stressful? And I'll throw that to you guys.
I don't know about Esme, but last year I was like texting her. I was like, oh my God, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? Like, I was so stressed out about the application, and it actually went pretty smoothly, to be honest with you guys. I definitely panicked for no reason.
Yeah, I think a lot it's different for everyone, and everyone's circumstances obviously different. I know like my transition, I found it really stressful because I went to a non-Ontario public high school that didn't actually have science courses. So I took Science 12. We didn't have bio or chem or physics. It was a very low income kind of school. And so I came in, and the most advanced biology I had done was mitosis. I hadn't even made it to meiosis yet. So I think, and then being thrown right in the deep end of biology, and professors saying things like, you will have seen this in high school. And it's like, I took auto mechanics 12 instead of this. So I think that was a really difficult part of my transition. So it's obviously going to be different for everyone, but there's lots of support in place. Like I was Sarah's pal last year, so I was texting her about the application, and you can always reach out to the UTM Forensic Society, and there's lots of support within the program for you to make it less stressful.
I didn't have that bad of a time because I had learned, like I had taken grade 12 biology and physics and all that fun stuff, but it wasn't too bad. A lot of the stuff for first year is just review from like your previous year. And then it kind of goes more into detail than your high school would have. But for the most part, if you take like if you have to take like a biology course like 153 or 152, you probably would have covered it for the most part in your high school. I don't know, but most high schools, I feel, because we had like I have friends from like all around the world and from like different areas, and for the most part we all had like the same kind of high school education.
That's the intent anyway. I know that there are some exceptions for students who won't be able to get that bio, but bio is a recommendation for, or is a requirement for all programs. So you should, in theory, have that background. How about just transition, like from high school to the university environment?
So I found doing readings like in high school, I didn't really have to study too much. Like I'd have to study for like the exam or something, but university, you really have to study, do the readings, go through the material, all that fun stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
So-
oh, sorry.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you guys off, but we do actually have to wrap up. We have to do a hard stop at 11. So I will be available in the chat for a little while longer on FeedLoop to answer more questions. So sorry we couldn't get to all of the questions. We only had a few more, but I will be here for a little while longer. Thank you so much to our panelists. I really appreciate you guys coming out. And if you still have more burning questions, we're going to have another student panel on Saturday, so you can join us then as well. So thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate the insightful information. You're getting a lot of thank yous in the chat here in FeedLoop as well. So yeah, it really means a lot to us. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day and hopefully see you tonight for the mock lecture. Bye.